Most manipulation isn't obvious. It doesn't always look like control or threats. Often, it shows up as subtle pressure, guilt, urgency, or emotional influence. And many people don't realize they're being manipulated until after the decision has already been made. But there are certain habits that quietly make manipulation much harder to use on you. Not because you become aggressive, but because you become aware. Here are 5 habits that make you significantly harder to manipulate. 1. Pause before responding. Manipulation often depends on speed. When someone pressures you to respond quickly, they remove the time you need to think clearly. You might hear phrases like, "Just decide now." "Why are you thinking about it so much?" "Everyone else already agreed." This creates psychological urgency, and urgency weakens critical thinking. People who are difficult to manipulate develop a simple habit. They pause. Even a short pause creates mental distance. Instead of reacting emotionally, they give themselves space to evaluate the situation. And that pause often reveals something important. If someone truly respects your decision, they won't be afraid of you taking time to think. 2. Ask calm questions. Manipulation often survives because people feel uncomfortable asking questions. But calm questions are one of the most powerful tools you can use. When someone pushes you toward a decision, try asking, "Why does this need to happen right now?" Or, "Can we think about this for a moment?" Or even, "Is there another option?" Questions shift the dynamic of a conversation. Instead of emotional pressure, the conversation becomes logical. And logic exposes weak arguments very quickly. People who manipulate others often rely on emotion, urgency, or confusion. But calm questions bring clarity. And clarity weakens manipulation. 3. Become comfortable saying no. Many people are manipulated for a simple reason. They struggle to say no. Not because they agree, but because they don't want to disappoint others. Manipulative individuals understand this, so they rely on guilt. "You're the only one who can help. I thought you cared about this. I guess I'll just do it myself." Statements like these create emotional pressure. But people who are difficult to manipulate understand something important. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes your boundaries clear. And when your boundaries are clear, manipulation becomes far less effective. 4. Watch actions, not just words. Manipulation often sounds convincing. The explanations can feel logical. The promises can sound sincere. But words can be crafted carefully. Actions are much harder to fake. People who are resistant to manipulation pay attention to patterns, not just individual moments. They notice when someone repeatedly says one thing but behaves differently. They notice when promises appear during moments of pressure but disappear afterward. Over time, this habit changes how you evaluate people. You stop being persuaded by persuasive language, and you start paying attention to consistent behavior. Because behavior reveals the truth that words sometimes hide. 5. Protect your emotional reactions. Emotions are powerful, and manipulation often works by triggering strong emotional responses. Anger, guilt, fear. When someone can control your emotional reaction, they can often influence your decisions. That's why emotionally reactive people are easier to manipulate. But emotionally controlled people are much harder to influence. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means recognizing them before acting on them. When you remain calm during emotional pressure, something interesting happens. The person attempting to manipulate you loses their leverage because their strategy depended on your reaction. Manipulation becomes much weaker when these habits are present. Pausing before responding. Asking calm questions. Becoming comfortable saying no. Observing actions instead of just words. And protecting your emotional reactions. None of these habits require confrontation. They simply require awareness. And once awareness develops, something interesting happens. People quickly realize that pressure tactics don't work the same way on you anymore. Not because you became difficult, but because you became intentional with your decisions.